Well, hey there team, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my overview of Kyborg. If you're not across it, I do overviews on this channel. It's just the first 2 hours of a game because it's the Steam refund window. Steam reckons you can make up your mind in that time. I generally agree. I'd say 20 hours in, probably not going to change your mind about how you felt 2 hours in. So short and punchy, broad strokes info, keep it around 10 minutes and you can make up your mind on your own. So what do we have here? Some liquid gold. This game came out of nowhere. I gave it a half-hearted go, if we're being honest. My God, this is addicting and I'm probably going to play it all weekend. So yeah, what an absolute little gem and the spirit of indie fun. So high praise coming straight out of the gate. I obviously am very, very fond of it. What is this game? Well, it's kind of, a roguelike for starters. It's an action roguelite, which is good to see. Don't get me wrong, I like all the roguelites and all that, but usually they're card battlers or auto battlers or whatever. No, this is very much an action beat 'em up style. In some ways, it reminds me of some of the old arcade cabinets that I played bloody 20 years ago, you know, like Dynamite Cop and stuff. Oh my God, I haven't even thought about that in forever. But a more contemporary, dare I say, unusual comparison would actually be the Arkham games. There are aspects of how the cogs click together and move in here that make me feel like free flow Batman. Not whole cloth, by the way. Like, it doesn't really have the counter system that you'd expect from something like Batman, but there is one little thing which is actually huge. There's like one feature, how to describe. You've got sort of like a dash button that you can hold. It's like a target lock-on button actually, but if you hold that and you press basic attack, your dude will just zoop across the room to whoever he's targeting. It's very powerful and it uses up a currency that you have in this game called shields. It's kind of your mana. It's down the bottom center of the screen and it's multifunctional. If you want to dodge an attack, it uses up a shield. If you want to block an attack, it uses up X shields, right? If you try and parry, it will use up shields. And it depends, like if they're trying to hit you with a really hard attack and you just block it, it's essentially a resource management trade as opposed to a timing window, and the block will be successful and it will damage the enemy as well. So part of how you build your character might be going into heavy shield economy. Anyway, getting into the mechanics a bit, but the zipping around from target to target really does make you feel like people who know this will understand when you're at high tier combo chain in an Arkham game and you just start exaggerate zipping around the combat room. And it's very cool and powerful, and it's not something that you've probably ever thought of as an individual mechanic ever, because neither have I. Here I am talking about it because they've implemented just that one thing, and it's almost enough to carry this game. Not that this game needs carrying, this game's really good, but that's one of the standout things that really features heavily. So yeah, ultimately it is set in a Running Man sort of universe, you know, game show criminal. You have the best mustache on the planet, almost as good as my one, and you're just doing these sequential roguelite runs. You go up an elevator, you'll get a left-right corridor, right? Occasionally there'll be like a slot machine thing that you can encounter. You go through, you fight, you beat up waves of dudes, rinse and repeat. All of this with the voiceover from this, I don't know, European, vaguely. I do not know what his accent is while it's heavy. Sometimes it feels Russian, other times it even had a lick of French in there in his inflections. But yeah, if I was a betting man, I'd say it's like Eastern Euro. And he's just doing all this commentating and it's cheesy and it's ham and he's kind of bad, but like I love it. Like the dude's chewing up the scenery and it's fascinating to see. You don't usually see that with a language barrier. Dare I say the dude is fluent enough to be kind of not great, if that makes sense. So it's not totally broken English, but it's just over the line. But he's getting into it and he's really enjoying all the one-liners and that. And it's refreshing, right? Because normally if you would see something like this done by AAA, it will be a Valley Girl, chatty Kathy, Karen that just drives you mad and wants you want to mute her. This dude, who's kind of a stand-in for like Jabba in this universe. He's sort of got this deformed, Star Wars Jabba head, but he's just talking shit the whole time. But he's clearly the MC of the whole thing. And the lines just keep coming, but I found it really complimentary. Honestly, I found it to be what all the chatty dialogue side characters are trying to get, but they always miss, right? That's why we hate so much AAA voice acting and sidekick chatty Cathys, right? This dude, the combination, it's got to be a combination between his extreme camp personality, his broken English, and the dagginess of all the lines that they're giving him. Like, it all Swiss cheeses together to make a perfect storm, and it's fucking great. And you know, at first I was like, oh, this is bad, but I'm in, and now I'm absolutely hooked. So it's great. As far as like the runs themselves, they don't take terribly long. Like, I died in the first biome quite a few times just trying to get the rhythm right, trying to feel it, because it is a heavy attack, light attack, block, dodge, and area attack combo interplay. Like I said, it is very much an arcade beat 'em up type game, right? So it's not Souls-like, and while it has aspects of Arkham in there, it's not like that either. Like, it's not extreme combo chaining. It is very much beat 'em up arcade action. But there's a pretty high lethality to it. So for the most part, you're kind of slow and lumbering. You do have that ability to zip from target to target, but your stats and your build will change so wildly over the course of the game. Like, it really embraces extreme power dynamism, and I use Risk of Rain 2 as an example. That's why it's so popular, whether you know it or not, is you start off as a little pea shooter crap character, and by the end of the run, the world is exploding and you're bricking your computer because you're so powerful. Well, this game is not that extreme, at least I haven't gotten that far, but you get the idea. The power scaling in it's pretty wild. And that's done through a combination of weapons, augments, mutations, but kind of most importantly, the cyborg equipment slot upgrades. They're the real gem of it all. And what they ultimately are gear set pieces, right? So you got legs, chest, what else? You got heart, spine, head, left and right arm. I think that's all of them. And as you go along, you're unlocking a bunch of meta progression in the form of new sets being available of that. Not just that, but weapons and all, which is great, because the issue with a lot of meta progression is I don't give a shit that you gave me 2% lightning resist or whatever. That's not enough to keep me on the treadmill. But when you give me more tangible stuff like set pieces, etc., then we're talking. And they're wildly different. Some of them, there's like a defender one, which is way more, well, defense oriented. There's one that's kind of like a lightning one, which is really, the more set pieces you stack, the better it gets. There's even a sort of organic alien predator type thing, and each set piece spawns a pet, a sidekick ally, and so you get weaker and weaker, and I specced into that in one run so bad that I could barely move in combat. My walk speed was so penalized, so a lot of it's give and take, but I had an army of like 5 dudes fighting everything for me, so it was really good. But even, like I said, the way that it metes out progress and meta progression, I believe even stacking things for multiple set boost synergy doesn't exist at first. You have to unlock that through the pretty expansive tree. You know, it's not quite Path of Exile sphere grid, but it is branching and it's got a lot going on, and I've only just realized that you can put multiple levels into almost everything. So you get this currency pretty generously through the course of a run, the meta currency, and then you just go back and you spend it to unlock more trees. And, you know, I actually went down a tree that really rewards you for rejecting an implant, and you get a lot of bonuses for saying no to it, right? Bit strange, but I was like, yeah, well, let's try strange. So if you potentially, I don't know, maybe you've already got 1 or 2 pieces and you want that set, but you don't get offered that piece again for the third piece, you reject that, and now my dude gets currency, HP upgrades, extra attack speed, all this sort of stuff as well. So it's wild stuff. And I haven't even talked about the weapons. Has a really unusual weapon system, which is right at home with a classic action arcade brawler, in that they're not guns in the sense that you'd be expecting, right? I wouldn't be surprised if some people came in here and said the gunplay is dog shit, it's the worst I've ever played. Yeah, but you're sort of trying to play COD or Gears of War. That's not what's going on here. So I'll strip back the weapons real quick. You can get a melee weapon, and these are, you know, loot box type things, rewards. You can pick a room to go to shops, that sort of thing. And they run a whole gamut, you know, double knives, a baton, that sort of thing. Even like big, heavy, two-handed weapons that kind of turn your light attacks into heavy attacks, which in turn create all sorts of synergies. One run, I was going the lightning build. Every time I do a combo that ends in a heavy attack, it would shoot lightning to another dude, and it was really powerful. And then I got a two-handed weapon and didn't realize that just by left-clicking, it was, or attacking. I used gamepad as well. I tried gamepad and mouse and keyboard, and both were actually really good. I couldn't really settle on them, so that's a great sign that the controls both were, even though it says you should use controller, mouse and keyboard was fine as well, both were fine. But it made it so that my light attack was just a heavy attack and it counted as the end of a combo chain. So I was just belting dudes with my zip attack and I was shooting lightning out, and it just created this synergy I had no idea was there. Very cool. And they all come in different packs, you know, there's ones like Fall of the Industrial Age, so you get some pretty wild like machine guns and things like that, but there's one that's like a killing joke. So I got like kind of meme weapons, fluorescent sticks, and you know, giant gym weights on the end of a bar. Then you have the pistol. Now the pistol has infinite ammo in that. The only way to get ammo back for it is by killing dudes. So you'll have a mag's worth, and all you do is hit the pistol button, and it will just auto shoot the nearest dude. Right? You can aim it to a point, like which way you're looking, but generally speaking, it's auto lock to a point. Like if it's slow projectile, it was one that shoots shurikens, then they'll probably move. But you get the idea. It's actually pretty fire and forget. And then you finish out the mag, you kill some dudes, it reloads it. And then you can unlock an actual main gun, like machine guns and that sort of stuff, and you can control and bring up the reticle. It's got a pretty aggressive on ADS lock that you see in things like Call of Duties and all that. And so the aiming for it's not that excellent, but if you sort of spam the ADS button, the pull-up weapon, that's when you get value out of it. But again, it's not supposed to be a shooter. It's supposed to be a mag of special ammo that's really powerful and that you use aggressively, and then you try and reload it through combo chains, through rewards, through shops, that sort of stuff. So it's less a gun and more a power weapon to your kit that's, you know, 90% melee. Anyway, I don't need to go on much more. This has already gone on long enough, but obviously I'm very, very fond of this game. I think it's quite excellent from top to bottom. I have a real soft spot for these games that are doing Running Man. You know, Showgunners has come up in a lot of videos recently for various reasons, but not the theme. That's also a game like that. You should check it out. But I can't really think of a game that goes into this genre and misses. Honestly, it really tends to land. So it's cool to see that. I think this game is excellent. What an absolute sleeper hit. I think you should maybe check it out if you found any of this interesting and play it all weekend like I probably will. Anyway, team, might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.